It was a sunny Saturday afternoon, and I was up in the attic rummaging through some old boxes from my childhood. I was hoping to find some photos to scan for a slideshow at my mom's 60th birthday party. As I was digging through one of the boxes, I suddenly came across something that made my heart skip a beat. An old projector and several vintage 8mm film canisters. My dad used to film all kinds of home videos on that old camera back in the 80s and 90s. I immediately raced downstairs, eager to hook up the projector and take a nostalgic trip down memory lane. After several minutes of fumbling with cords and lenses, I finally got the device running and projected it onto the blank living room wall. The first reel I randomly grabbed chronicled a camping trip I took with my family to Yosemite when I was probably 6 or 7. Watching my younger self giggling as I tried to assemble a tent brought a huge smile to my face. But as the short scene ended and the projector's light cut to black, I felt an odd chill creep over me. Even though it was midday and sunny, the living room suddenly felt darker, colder somehow. I shook off the feeling, threaded the next film reel through the spinning cogs, and loaded it onto the spool. As the projector flickered back to life, I recognized the scene immediately. My 9th birthday party in our backyard. A wave of nostalgia washed over me as I saw all my old friends running around with party hats on, singing and eating cake. But about halfway through the short clip, something strange caught my eye. In the background near the white picket fence stood an unfamiliar figure. A young man, maybe late teens or early 20s, hands in his pockets, staring directly into the camera. His stringy black hair obscured most of his face, but I could detect his chilling gaze even from a distance. A cool unease ran through me. Who was this creepy, out-of-place person watching my childhood birthday party? Why didn't I remember him being there? I jogged upstairs to grab another film roll, needing to see if he appeared again. This next reel showed me at baseball practice when I was 10 or 11, decked out in an oversized uniform and cleats. Most of the film focused on my at-bats and fielding practice, but during a couple of quick crowd shots, sure enough, there was that same shady character lurking behind the chain-link fence, peering through with intense interest. My chest tightened as a slew of troubling questions flooded my mind. How long had this man been following me growing up? Did my parents know about him? I watched several more films. My trip to the zoo in 4th grade, my family vacation to the Grand Canyon when I was 12, and my middle school graduation. And each time, a few minutes in, the ominous figure would subtly appear somewhere, in the frame, studying me. I felt nauseous and dizzy trying to comprehend this unsettling blast from the past. Who was he? What did he want? Why did he keep secretly following me all those years ago? And where was he now? I slowly approached the dusty attic stairs, hesitant to head back up for another film canister. But morbid curiosity got the best of me. I had to keep watching. The next reel showed me playing in the park near our house at maybe 5 or 6 years old. As I laughed and climbed up the steps of the big yellow tube slide, I felt my stomach drop. There was the man yet again, leaning casually against a tree just yards away, watching me like a hawk. His eerie stillness gave me chills up and down my spine. I couldn't watch anymore. I grabbed the remaining canisters and tossed them into the fireplace without even looking. As I lit a match and watched the aged celluloid film bubble and burn away, I felt a mixture of sadness and relief. Whoever the creepy man was, whatever he wanted from me, those haunted memories were now ashes drifting up the chimney. All I could do was hope he'd never come back to pick up where he left off. That night I barely slept. I tossed and turned, imagining I heard floorboards creaking outside my bedroom. Shadows in the moonlight seemed to sway and contort into human shapes along the walls. When exhaustion finally pulled me under around 5 a.m., I immediately plunged into a vivid, disturbing nightmare. I was back in the park as a young child, gleefully going down the bright yellow slide. But this time, when I reached the bottom, there was the man standing at the edge of the woods, his face finally visible up close. His cold, gray eyes pierced my very soul. I tried to run away, but my small legs felt stuck in quicksand. The man slowly walked toward me, a twisted grin spreading across his gaunt face. He reached out those bony hands to grab me. I awoke shrieking, tangled in damp sheets. As my panic eased, I noticed something amiss in my darkened bedroom. Shreds of muted light from the street lamp outside swayed oddly across my closet door, almost as if someone was standing right outside the entrance, softly moving back and forth. A terrified chill seized me. "Hello?" I whispered shakily. No response. Gathering my courage, I slowly slid out of bed and crept toward the closet, baseball bat raised. My clammy hand clutched the cool metal knob. Suddenly, I detected a soft creak from somewhere down the hall. I whipped my head toward the bedroom door. At that same instant, the closet light went out completely. I nearly screamed, backing against the wall in horror, knees buckling. Someone was in the house with me. I was certain of it. Following several minutes of excruciating silence, I finally mustered the courage to leave the room and do a full sweep. But no one else was inside. Every window and door remained locked. No signs of any break-in. Had it all just been my imagination fueled by those chilling home videos? There was no other explanation, unless he had somehow found me again. For the next several weeks, I hardly ate or slept. I could barely focus on anything but the next potential appearance of that sinister man from my childhood. Surely he must be out there biding his time. But my constant vigilance ultimately yielded nothing. Maybe it really had all been in my head. As more time passed, my paranoia finally began to subside. That is, until today when I received a mysterious package in the mail. A vintage 8mm film canister with no label or return address. Written in black marker on the side were simply the numbers 060615, my birthday. Cold dread crept down my neck as I realized what I now held in my trembling hand. This was no mistake. He had found me. And this was his way of letting me know he was still keeping watch after all these years. Still documenting my life from the shadows. I briefly considered destroying the canister, but my morbid curiosity begged for one last viewing. Hands quaking, I loaded the reel into the projector and watched the blurred colors focus on a familiar scene. It was a video of me from just 2 weeks ago, taking the trash bins out to the curb late at night. I fast-forwarded until the 3-minute scene ended. He must have only wanted me to see one last shot. It was just an image of myself walking back inside down the driveway. Nothing remarkable whatsoever. But I had to stifle a horrified sob when I saw it. Because there, peeking out from behind my neighbor's tree, was a gaunt, ghostly face. Staring directly into the lens, he was close now, closer than ever before, and this time his pale lips slowly spread into a knowing smile that made my blood run cold. I invite you to imagine for yourself whatever ominous fate he has in store for me next, for I fear the story truly never ends. He will always be lurking, waiting for the perfect moment to once again emerge from the dark.